silent.
Today we're going to look inside the life of a successful powerlifter and former bodybuilder. We are going to see just what makes him so special. Jules Pellegrino has 6 children, and each member of his family supports him to the fullest. Jules is my father. Dad, known to the public as Jules or Butch, when exactly did you begin your powerlifting and bodybuilding career?
I had left college, and I was looking for a sport that I could participate in. And I had joined this gym in West Patterson. First, ironically, I had gone to another gym that was booked, and they had a waiting list to join. And about 18 years later, I ended up owning that same gym that I wasn't accepted to in the beginning.
What accomplishments have you achieved, and what was your biggest achievement?
Well, my biggest achievement was making the United States Masters team. I did that in 1983, but I had been state champion for a number of years, regional champion, Eastern American champion, and I had taken 4th place twice in the national championships.
What disappointments came about throughout your career?
Well, there were a couple. The main one was when I was on the United States team in '83, I had participated in the World Championships, and I had gotten disqualified because I didn't what they call bomb out. I bombed out on one of my lifts. I didn't go far enough down on my squat, and I was eliminated. And at that time, I was one of the favorites to win the World Championship.
Mom, you must have seen Dad go through many ups and downs. What kind of support did you give him?
Well, weightlifting has been a big part of his life, and I've always tried to support him and be there for, all his trials and tribulations. And he's always been an optimist. He's always seen the glass half full, and every loss he made good of it. He was always encouraged to go on and do better.
Can you let us know how your family, supported you in your weightlifting endeavors?
Well, yes. As far as Mom, my wife, traveled with me all the time, supported me in preparing certain food dieting that I had to do, and anytime we had gone on vacation, I always had to look for a gym to train at, and she was understanding about that. And as far as the kids, they would travel with us to see me compete, and it was a big help.
I don't think I've missed a contest that he's been in throughout his whole career. Even when I was like 5 or 6, I started traveling with him all over the country, to Wisconsin, Canada, Texas.
You have 4 sons. Have any of them taken your interest in weightlifting?
Yes, all 4 do train. Maybe not to the extent that I do right now, but hopefully they will in the future.
Do you keep after them to keep physically fit?
I definitely do. Not only for wanting them to compete someday, but to just stay in shape for health reasons.
I started lifting before I was old enough to compete, and it took me a couple years before I was allowed to compete. When I turned 14, I entered my first contest, and with my father, we would both compete together. We both won, and that was the first time, and I started getting more into wrestling, so I haven't competed since then. But my wrestling career will be over soon, and I'm going to definitely start training harder and competing, hopefully with my father again in another contest.
Lifting's been a big part of my life. I work out 6 days a week, and I don't know, most kids my age turn to drugs, but I like to weightlift to keep me busy.
I'm very proud of him, and he motivates me to stay in shape and to lift. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have passed the President's Physical Fitness test.
What made this sport so interesting to you?
Well, I was always a competitive person in high school, and I was looking for a sport that would was something that I could compete on later on in years, and come up with powerlifting.
How far did you intend to go in your career? Did you ever expect to still be competing 23 years later?
Well, I think anybody who takes up a sport wants to go as far as they can. And I had aspirations, of course, being a national champion and making the United States team at some time. And 23 years later, I did.
Well, we had a little weightlifting club in Paterson, New Jersey. We started in 1952. I guess your father came in a year or two later and wanted to join, but it was a little private place. We just had, everybody had a key and everything, and I discouraged a lot of members. But when he first came in, I finally settled on the idea that if a guy came back 2 or 3 times, maybe he was interested. The first time I would tell him, I'm sorry, we can't take any members, but we'll put you on your waiting list. If they came back 2 or 3 times, I think, well, maybe they are serious, and we take them in. And your father always kids now about he was on the waiting list in our gym, and it was only a little storefront at the time. But I knew a lot of people in bodybuilding, and they said there's only one gym in the country that has a waiting list, and that's Belmont Barbell Club.
When I first started lifting here, I didn't know how to lift, I didn't know how to train properly. What Butch gives to young kids who come to the gym is he explains the proper ways and the improper ways to work out. So from a lifting standpoint, he's been an inspiration because he's been training for so many years.
My father taught me that nothing comes easy and hard work will pay off. And no matter what you do in life, that nothing's gonna come easy, especially with lifting. You have to train hard and you'll see the gains.
What meaning does powerlifting signify in your life?
Well, it's a big part of my life. I think it keeps you young. I like the competitiveness of it, and I just think it's a great sport for people to get involved in.
Do you have any more powerlifting competitions in your future?
Well, right now I'm trying to make a comeback. In 6 months, the national championships are going to be held out in California, and that's the goal I'm training for right now.
He's been a big influence on us all, even my brothers and everything.
I want to stay in shape and have a collection of trophies like he did.
I think your father, Butchie, quote, Jules, is one of the greatest guys I've met. And I probably remember that before we went to the World's Championships, I gave him a trophy. And I wondered what to say on it. And it came out maybe corny, but I said on that trophy, to Jules, a guy that's a champion in every sense of the word. And I meant it then, and I mean it even more now.
Well, we took a look inside the life of Jules Pellegrino, and we saw just what made him so special. We saw his ups and his downs, his triumphs and his tribulations. We spoke with all of his sons, and we saw how Jules's values had carried over to them. I would just like to add that if anyone were to ask me what it has been like to have Jules as my father, I would have to say that he has been the biggest inspiration in my life, and that he has taught me in all of life, it is not the triumph, but the struggle.
First, when there's nothing but a slow glowing dream that your fear seems to hide deep inside your mind. All alone I have cried silent tears